All right, welcome to the Bruins Benders Podcast, Season 4, Episode 36 with Maddie and Smitty. What's your vector, Victor? Brought to you on the Inside the Rink Podcast Network at InsideTheRink.com. If you are joining us live on YouTube, you're not joining us live, we're recording. But certainly hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And if you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, give us a rate and review. Sign up for ITR Plus for Benders Offer content. There's a brand new one on there. Check it out, low monthly fee, and you get more of us. I mean, what's not to love? In this episode, we will discuss Peter DeBoer, shit-canned by the Dallas Stars, should the Bruins have waited for him. Brad Marchand, he's going to go to the highest bidder, could be upwards of $8 million per season. And an amateur scout for the Bruins says, if we pick at number 7, does that mean the Bruins are potentially trading the pick? All that and more on this episode of Bruins Benders Podcast with Maddie and Smitty, and it's a Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to producer Connor and Smitty.
Yeah, and you as well,
and me. Yeah, and all the fathers out there, and all the mothers who watch us, who do all the fathers' work. That too.
Yeah,
and happy Father's Day to everybody. And we are here. I'll tell you what about the Bruins. I'll say this about them.
Yeah,
doing a good job of spreading out all this news, so that we have things to talk about. You know what I mean? We talk about how they drag their feet, but it's good for podcasting.
It is good for podcasting. And I'm sure 100% because the Bruins love nothing more than to look out for us.
They love it. We're on that radar for sure. Yeah,
they love us. And we're at the very forefront of their brains. So they are doing this especially for us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And those of you from the Bruins who are listening, welcome. You'll love this episode as well. Hey, and follow us each on X at Benders Smitty and at Mr. Matty Barry.
Yeah, and you know what else? You mentioned YouTube earlier. People should go over there and check out the content. Just go right over there and check it out. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned that this was recording on YouTube. It's not, but we have a bunch of shit up there. So you can go and get all the YouTube.
A bunch of shit up there.
Yeah. I mean, we got. If you want to go back and listen to us rant about a random game in fucking January, go nuts. The Winnipeg Jets ones, especially, epic.
Yeah, those are epic.
Yeah, check those ones out. The Bruins were outscored combined in those games like 17-3 or something.
And those were our highest viewed ones.
Highest viewed ones, yeah. Because we lost
1,000 views almost. Yeah.
So you should, head on over to YouTube. Just go down the rabbit hole. Grab a beer or 7 or 12 and just watch like old game day lives.
We'll call it Benders Cooler. Benders Summer Cooler.
Summer Cooler.
Yeah.
There
you go.
I love it.
Benders Summer Cooler.
Yeah, it's like the movie loft or something over there.
Yeah, the movie loft with Dana Hersey. Yeah. You can watch the French Connection.
Yeah, just fucking dive right in. We're right over.
Right in. Dive right into
Maddie, Smitty, and Gene Hackman. We're all over them.
Absolutely. Poor Gene. All right. Hey, Marco Sturm press conference. Let's start out with that one before we get to the chirp. So the presser happens.
Yeah.
And Marco Sturm gets up there and Don Sweeney introduces him. And I believe we have the audio of that, Connor, do we?
We do not, unfortunately.
We do not. Okay. So anyway, Don Sweeney says that he was plowed and preased to introduce Marco Sturm. And, the thing that irritated me about this, and we know why it happens, but the friggin' questions were such cupcake. I don't care. I don't care what your vision was, what your path was, I don't care. Can we talk about the power play that you have to resurrect? Can we talk about how you're going to be, a more of an offensive minded coach, how you're going to evolve, as Don Sweeney said, offensively? Can we talk about the hockey club and how it's going to get better? But the first 6 or 8 questions were about Boston. And we get it. Boston's a great city, Marco. You don't have to tell us. But what you have to tell us is how is this team going to get better with the roster that's constructed? Like, how are you going to make a difference? How are you going to be better than Bruce Cassidy and Jim Montgomery? How are you going to be different than those guys to be successful in this organization?
Yeah, I'm not sure he can answer that.
No.
He knows that there's challenges on the roster. I think that was evident. and he knows they need to compete harder, certainly. So to me, those are the areas, or the compete level, I think, is the number one area of concern, to me at least. Like, you know, the roster's bad, right? You know it's bad. So they need to compete hard every night. And you don't see that. You haven't seen it. You know, they start slow, or they take periods off, or they have a great first and then those lousy second and a lousy third, or they play a great 2 periods. And then you're like, okay, here we go. Close it out. And then they give up 2 or 3 goals, and then it's nail biting, and you're hanging on for dear life. And then they're giving up goals in the last minute of a period, or with the goalie pulled. Like, there's always something with this team as far as the effort and compete. And we need to get back to that. Like, if you're going to be a defensive-minded goaltending team, you have to fucking compete in your defensive zone. And they just haven't the last few years. It's slipped. And they've talked about it. You know, our culture is eroded, or what, you know, whatever it is, however they said it. But it has. And it comes back to competing in the defensive end. It comes back to winning pucks along the wall, which they've struggled with lately. The last couple of years. And those type of things, you know, lead to goals against, lead to scoring chances against, lead to high danger chances. So until you start winning more battles, competing harder along the boards, like, you can talk about Florida's skill all you want, they compete their fucking asses off.
Oh my God, they do.
Like, they are asses off. Like, they compete. And until you can get to that level of competing, you'll always be second to them. Whether you get a roster that's good or not, if you don't fucking play hard, you have no chance in this league. Like, anybody can beat you on any night in this league. I don't care what their roster is. If they play harder than you, they can win. Yeah,
they can. And the Panthers up 3-1 now, as Oilers just scored, but 3-1. They got just about ready to win Game 5 and a chance to win at home again, back-to-back, you know, Stanley Cups. And that's a team, like you said, their culture. They've identified players who can play that way. Every player plays that way. The Bruins, I still question their true identity. Like, what are they trying to accomplish when they build the roster? Do they know what that looks like? Do they have a grasp of that? You talk about development. Sweeney talked about how other coaches who interviewed or actually turned down interviews when contacted by the Bruins were talking about how the player development was a problem, you know, and that was something that they didn't do well. Well, does that make you feel comfortable with them drafting 7th overall and 51, 61, and 69 and getting all these draft picks and all these prospects into the system that hasn't worked? So, you know, there's a lot more than just, you know, the roster has some holes. It's like the whole program. It's just not been good. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Granted, Sweeney did fine with the past core. It's not about that. It's about what is happening now with this new core. Can he put it together? Can he put a roster together that can rival the past one? I don't think he can, because he hasn't done it. So when he says things like the player development and questions himself and what they've done, that makes me even more nervous, because I don't think he really has an idea of what that looks like.
I don't think he does have an idea of what it looks like. I don't think, and it does make me nervous that he can pull it off. The thing that I will, I don't know if I'll necessarily give him credit for, but I like the fact that he brought in other coaches and listened to the critical parts of how they view the Bruins organization. And maybe that's the first step to him, you know, figuring out a way to change that. Right. Because it needs to change. Everybody knows it needs to change. We've been saying it for a long time. Maybe he's finally realizing it when he's getting all these outside voices from other coaches and other teams that are saying, look, this is a problem. This is a problem within your organization. And if multiple people are identifying that as a problem, then he has to realize, okay, this is a bigger issue than we thought it was, and we need to fix this sooner rather than later. So maybe maybe the silver lining of all this is they finally realize there's a problem in that area. And look, Marco Sturm has developed some young players. And I liked some of the conversation I heard with Sturm, and I don't believe it was at the press conference. I think it was asked, maybe an interview afterwards, but he talked, and they were talking about how he communicated with some of the younger players in the Kings organization and how it could relate to a guy like maybe Mason Lohrei or Matt Poitras, saying, you need the organization to trust you. They're not going to put you out on the ice if they don't trust you. And if you keep making the same mistakes or playing defense in the same way, they can't trust you to be out there in certain situations. They're not going to give you power play time if every time you're out there, you give up a shorthanded chance and you're weak defensively, or you make poor decisions over and over again. So some of that stuff I liked. So maybe, again, Sturm being in there will help with that player development piece that's been an issue for this team, for the last however many years, in all of Sweeney's tenure, I guess. Yeah,
and I'll say this, like, why was that happening? Like, partly that's got to be on some of the coaching and the management of why 100%. Are these players continuing to do this? So if Sturm is really going to wrap his arms around that and say that that's not going to be something that happens anymore, can you coach them through it? Can you not just say, you need to do this, and then not really coach them through it and expect them to know or expect them to do it or change it, and it's not happening? That's some of that falls on the coaching and the player development. So hopefully that's the case. And Sturm talked about, like, he can say, well, we did this with Alex Turcotte, or we did this with this so-and-so. And
Brant Clark,
Brant Clark, and we can, if you do this, then this will work. This will make you a good NHL player. So that I agree with too. And that was a part that I really liked about that. And I think this is finally something. Remember when they talked about Cassidy and they fired him, and they said, well, because he doesn't do well with the young players. So they bring in Jim Montgomery, who supposedly does well with the young players. Then he never played them either. So I wonder if the organization, meaning Don Sweeney, has finally realized that the way they handle these young players is not good enough or not the right way.
Yeah, maybe he should butt the fuck out.
The case. Yeah, maybe I think he got a dose of reality. I think that's the thing you can take away from the coaches and what they said.
Hopefully.
Is that finally he's acknowledging it, which I think was pretty eye-opening, because he went from being, well, I think anybody, Karen, would work for the 101 history of the Boston Bruins historical franchise, to now coaches are saying, I don't even want an interview done because you guys just don't do it well. And I'm afraid that we're not going to develop players. I'm going to be hamstrung. I'm going to be fired in 2 years. I'm not taking the job. And it was a real dose of reality. So
I hope so. I hope he butts the fuck out on the play development piece. Like, let the coaches coach. And I've said this a million times. Like, if you want to be involved in that shit so bad, then coach the fucking team.
Right.
Stop meddling in the coach's fucking business and put a fucking roster on the ice that's worthy of an NHL team. Stop getting into the coaching shit and worry about general fucking managing. How about that? Like, focus on your fucking piece and let the coaches do the coaching. If the coaches don't live up to your fucking ideals, then you can fire their ass again. I mean, probably not, because if you fire another coach,
now you're
probably going to see the door.
Yeah, you're going to get fired.
Hopefully you got this one right. But butt the fuck out. Like, get out of his fucking business and let Sturm do the coaching, and the rest of the holdover coaching staff that you fucking kept there, let them coach, and you worry about general managing the team. That's a whole nother thing for me. Like, why can't the guy pick his own fucking assistants?
He's too much of a buddy system.
Like, if you're giving him the fucking head coaching job and you're saying, coach, let him bring in guys that have his philosophy down pat and can coach his philosophy and know what he's about. Don't and it sounded like we're collectively looking for one assistant. So Don Sweeney is still looking for the assistant. It's not Marco Sturm's guy. No. It's the organization's guy, which is fucking horseshit.
Yeah, it is, because it's hiring Sturm still gives Sweeney enough enough control that some other coach, veteran coach, would be like, I'm not doing it that way, here, whatever. So this still gives him some hint of control. So he hasn't learned 100%. I just hope that some of these comments about player development will at least, open his eyes toward trying to handle young players differently, because they need some of these guys, Poitras, and we talked about this, Poitras, Minton, Lysell. I need some of these guys to be decent NHL players, or they're really screwed.
Yeah, not decent. They need to be good.
They need to be good players. Like, they need to be 50, 60-point players.
Yeah, we got to stop with like the, they made the team, so that's good enough. No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
No, it isn't. It's not good enough.
No, because you can still be a bad team.
Yeah, I mean, look, Tampa's been getting players in the second round and the third round. Like you've done it previously. Like you need some of these guys to hit. Like enough with the he's a serviceable NHL player. No, we don't need that. We need better than that.
Yeah,
we need better than that. We need Mason Lohrei to be better than that. We need him to be a top 4D. We need Matt Poitras to be a second line center at worst.
At worst,
we need Fraser Minton to be, a better than a third line center for the rest of his life. Like we need
better than Charlie Coyle.
Better. Yeah, we need Fabian Lysell to be a top six winger that's going to score 20 to 25 goals. Like that's what we need. We don't need them to be, he was a nice piece. Yeah. He's he's a little bit, worse than Charlie Coyle, but he's okay. Or, Matt Poitras is a better version of, Zach Hamill or fucking Jack Studnicka. Like, no.
Yeah. No. Just because they're on the team doesn't mean they're any good.
Yeah, better.
Especially on this team. But yeah, they need a handful of those guys to be good solid NHL players. Yeah. And if they don't, you're looking at the free agent list. Some of these free agents are not talking to the Bruins and others are staying put. So there's nothing out there free agent wise. So trades, how many assets they have to trade? Not a lot. So they have draft picks. They don't, even Matt Poitras is not going to return a ton. So
no, he's not going to return anything.
So you're in trouble. Like you're in trouble right now. So that's why you're bringing in Victor Soderstrom and Max Kumquat and all these other guys. Like, for Christ's sake, like this is why the Bruins are doing this type of stuff, because the boat is sinking and they have like a Dixie cup right now. So it's, I'm telling you, it's not. Andy Raycroft says they're making the playoffs. I think he's out of his mind.
Yeah, I think he's
out of his mind. I really do. There's no way. This team has 6 forwards under contract that are 6.
No, with this roster, they're not making the playoffs.
There's no way to say that. None. All right, 7 Chirps is sponsored by Lops Brewing, Lobster Brewery and Tasting Room in downtown Woonsocket, Rhode Island, specializing in small batch ales and lagers. It's open 7 days a week. Use the coupon code SPORTS to get 10% off your online order. Go to lopsbrewing.com. Follow them at Lops Brewing for new beers and events. Chirp 1, Peter DeBoer was fired by the Dallas Stars after going to the Western Conference Final. Should the Bruins have waited for him, or was that even a consideration?
I think they should have waited just to have the conversation. Personally, like if you're gonna wait as long as they waited, like what's another week? What's another week?
Yeah, I think they should, but here's the thing: they don't pay.
No,
so they're not going to pay Pete DeBoer.
Right? Yeah, I mean that was what I was going to say. He's not going to go. He wouldn't have come here. But I think it would have been. I think it would have been. Yeah, I mean that's probably why they didn't wait, because they knew he wasn't going to come there. But I feel like they should have had the conversation, because a guy like that has taken teams to the Western Conference Finals multiple times, that might be a guy that I'd want to hear his view of my organization.
Yeah,
I might want to hear a successful coach in this league, his view of my organization. I think I would want to hear that. So I would have waited, and he probably would go somewhere else, or take a year off, or whatever the case may be. But they should have waited on him, I think.
I want to hear from Misha Donskov. I haven't heard a peep. Like, what happened there? Like, he was on the top, one of the front runners. Like, they're really targeting this guy. And then he was completely off the list and no mention of it at all. I think he told him
to fuck off.
I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the guys that said, no.
Yeah.
You don't do things the way we do them in Dallas. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm waiting for my another opportunity, which there'll be another next year.
Sure.
So I think that absolutely happened. And I think it happened more often than not. And I think that Sweeney really got some humble pie. I think he really thought, he says 14 candidates. Like it was, no, you didn't. You had 14 people you reached out to, and like 5 interviewed. Like, give me a break. Like, that's not 14 candidates. That's, that's like me going to a bar and being like, yeah, there were 14 girls there for me, and 9 of them turned me down without even fucking listening. Like, that doesn't mean they're a candidate.
No.
Jesus Christ, Don. Like, anywho. Trip 2, Brad Marchand, old friend, seeking 3 to 4 years on the market, possibly $8 million a year, going to the highest bidder, it seems, with no regard for really anything else but the most money. Utah was a team that is going to be throwing around some money that was considered. What are the best fits for Marchand, do you think?
I think Florida's a really good fit for Marchand.
I think it's a great fit. Honestly, I'd take 3 times 7 and stay in Florida if I was him.
I don't know if Florida can have cap space, because it sounds like they're coming to terms with Bennett.
Yeah, they're keeping Bennett.
Yeah, for around 8. So I don't know if they have the cap room to keep a guy like Marchand. I think they need him to take a discount, and he's not doing this at this stage of his career, I don't think. So I'm thinking a team like Carolina could use him. I think Vegas would be a great fit for him. Sure. I think LA would be a great fit. I think Colorado would be a great fit. I think Toronto would be a great fit. I think anybody that has the potential to win could use a guy like Brad Marchand, because if you play him down on like a second or third line, I think he's going to be very, very dangerous for your team.
Well, look at this third line they have now with Lindholm and Lohrei. Like, it's dominating. I mean, and we've talked about this before. Third lines win you the cup. They win you the cup.
Third lines in the playoffs, because
they're a major part of it.
Usually cancel out, and then if the third and fourth lines, consistently win shifts and win and score goals, like that's bonus offense. That's where the winning happens in the playoffs, and that line for them has been dominant in the playoffs.
Yes. It is.
And here they are, a game and a half away from winning the Stanley Cup. So, he's been sensational for them. I think it would be a great fit there. And the pressure's off him. He kills penalties still, plays a little bit of power play, like a little bit of reduced minutes for him, like without all the pressure of being the captain and the face of the franchise and all that bullshit. Like, it's just a great fit for him. No pressure, and just back to like really enjoying playing hockey again.
Yeah, a 4-1 Panthers. Marchand with 2 goals tonight. Headed for Conn Smythe. I'm telling you, he's going to win the Conn Smythe.
I think it's probably going to be Sam Bennett if they win.
You think so? Bennett scored 13 road goals. In the postseason. 13.
I know. Yes,
like that is insane.
Yeah,
I think 25 goals all year.
If Bennett wasn't having the postseason that he's having, I think Marchand would be the front runner for the Conn Smythe. Honestly.
Yeah, no question. Question. I still think the best fits. If I'm Toronto, I'm throwing the bag at him to try, not only because of his postseason acumen, but because of his whole culture changing attitude. Like he would go in with super confidence and change that thing. Or Montreal. And Montreal is a team that's like a Brad Marchand, kind of one player like him away from really being a legit like contender, is that type of veteran presence like he would be for them. And he would fit their style, And so I think those 2 teams for me.
It's another team that I just thought of. Ottawa could use a guy.
Ottawa too. Yeah. And Ottawa might be a sneaky team to come in. Actually, Ottawa I saw yesterday, a little bit of a rumor that they may come in out of nowhere on Marner and throw some big money because the owner wants to make a big statement.
Because I also heard that them and Giroux might be a little further apart on contract. So they let Giroux walk. There's money there for either Marner or Marchand, possibly. So
Claude Giroux wouldn't be a bad pickup for the Bruins at the right price. Not at all. Especially if they're looking to try to make the playoffs or whatever the fuck they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to do that, then take it by the balls and get a guy like Giroux to in a shorter term deal. Sure. I wouldn't be opposed to it if it wasn't out of this world.
Not at all.
All right. Chirp 3 is Bruins took Brady Martin, draft prospect, to dinner Don Sweeney actually sat next to him on a plane a couple of years ago by chance. Is this the pick? Is it a reach? I'm hearing that maybe Utah, if they keep their pick, likes him. Philadelphia likes him. So if he even gets there. But what I don't love is that the projection for him is like a bottom 6, almost sounds like a Trent Frederic when he was a draft prospect profile.
Yeah, anybody compared to Trent Frederic, I don't like it. Immediately, I don't like it. I don't know if he gets there. It sounds like all the teams in the 4 to 6 range really like him.
Yeah.
So I feel like he'll be gone before they get to fuck that up and make that pick.
Yeah.
So I still think it's going to be, Jake O'Brien if they make the pick. Because I think like Denwye, I think Frondell, I think those guys are going to be gone. I think Brady Martin's going to be gone. So I still think it's going to be one of those guys, if they make the pick, and I guess now there's some question whether they do or not. So
yeah, it could be. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Connor says it's Jordan Hudson. It's the Bruins Jordan Hudson because whenever you meet someone on a plane, it can't be good. Right. I mean, I don't know. Look here's the more I research this draft and the more I hear teams maybe trading out of here or putting their pick up here, I just think that this draft is not very good. And I'm just worried that any of these guys after the first couple are just sort of decent players. Might be okay. And I just don't love it. I just don't love the feel I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I when I heard that outside of the top, 1 or 2 guys that everybody has some question marks.
That's
like,
never
I
good.
love that. Like question marks at number 3 in the draft. Like,
that's terrible.
Like that's not good. That's not what you're looking for.
No.
So I could see why they would want to trade out. But my question is, why would someone else want to trade in?
That's it, right.
It
takes 2 to tango.
It takes 2 to tango. You can want to get out of that thing all you want.
Sure.
But if another team doesn't want in, then you're standing there with your dick in your hands.
Yeah. Why would you want that guy if he's just like the rest of the guys? If there's a real difference between 3 and 12, no one knows.
Yeah. So I don't know. To me, they're going to end up taking the pick at 7 because who would want to trade with to 7 if you can trade to 4 with Utah? Like, wouldn't you want to trade to 4 or not 7? Then you have a better chance of getting whoever the guy is that you really are looking for. Why would you trade to 7? Like all the top guys are gone.
Right.
Oh, right. I don't know. I feel like they're going to pick at 7 and it's going to be a guy who's going to be a project and with their development history, you have to think it's not going to go well, but we'll see.
It leads us right to Chirp 4, which is the amateur scout for the Bruins, says in an interview, he kind of let it slip. If we pick there, he said, is it possible the Bruins are considering trading the pick? Does it include Geekie? Like there's some talk maybe that they're kind of throwing Morgan Geekie's name out there to try to make a bigger type of move. Would you package Geekie in the first round pick for somebody, and who would it be? Who would you want?
No, I wouldn't.
Not for like the guys I'm hearing.
That's a young kid, like from Marco Rossi. Like,
yeah, no, that's not
sideways.
Yeah.
No,
way.
Cut the shit. Because then you're going to have to pay Marco Rossi, a 60-point guy, like $9 million a year. Yeah. Like, you already fucked that up once with Elias Lindholm. Let's not do it again.
Yeah.
Let's not pay a 60-point guy money he's not worth.
Yeah.
And Rossi's a smallish cat too. Like, no.
Who would you rather have?
Geekie's in his mid-20s and just scored fucking 30 goals or whatever he did. Like, cut the shit. I'll take Morgan Geekie at 5.75 or whatever his restricted free agent number is. He's one of the fucking 2 good players you have on the motherfucking team. No, I'm not trading him. No.
You're going to trade him to go backwards and try to get another guy that scores 33 goals?
And a draft pick for who? Yeah. For what? Like, fuck you.
For Alex Tuck.
Cut the shit.
I know. What are you doing? Like, see, this is what I mean. I don't think here. I really believe this. I really believe that Don Sweeney questions himself drafting. Like it goes all the way back to 2015. They're so defensive over that and so trying to cover up for Sweeney. I really don't think he loves the draft. I really don't think he has an idea. Like, I really think he gets gun shy in the draft. And I think he's more confident in trading. So I think that that's the part of this that is up for debate. Like, is he a better kind of trade guy, try to make a decent trade, or is he a better draft development guy? And I think it's trading. And I think that's where he's more comfortable.
Sure.
And I almost believe that he would rather trade this pick than pick a guy and have him score no goals at BC in 36 games, like fucking Letourneau. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't know. I really question if he's that confident in this whole draft and develop process now. Because he even mentioned it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, because he knows they suck at it, and people have told him they suck at it. So I get that. And producer,
so what does that make you feel like?
It makes me feel like he doesn't know what he's doing, like I felt all along, and like he feels, I guess, all along. So should he have been fired 2 fucking years ago? Yeah, he should have.
Should have been.
That's what I said all along. I should be general managing the team right now. Yes, shouldn't be him. Should be me.
Right.
In my fucking Bruins jersey.
Yeah.
Should be me.
Hey, you'll be throwing water bottles up in the 9th floor.
I would be
firing at people. Evan Bold would have scars all over the fucking
in one of the games late in the season when we were getting our fucking shit pushed in, all the sticks from all the players would have ended up on the ice.
Yeah.
I would have grabbed all of them.
It would have been like a Wally Backman, like throwing all the
onto the ice. Yeah. I would have been army crawling across the fucking dot and throwing pucks like fucking hand grenades. Jesus fuck. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Bruce Bonner wants to chimes in. Geekie +7 for Natchez.
What do you think?
Look, they should not be subtracting the good players off the team.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you want to add to Geekie and Pastrnak.
Yes, that's what you do. So I don't think I'm doing that. I think that's probably too much for Natchez. I like Natchez as a player, and I would take him on my team, but not for that. Not for that.
You have like Geekie, Lindholm, Pastrnak is fairly set. I'm not 100% confident in it, but it showed some signs in the last month of the season.
It did.
Fine. After that, you've got like no top 6 that have shown a damn thing. So you can't take one of your best top 6 away and add another top 6. That's not going anywhere.
No, exactly. It's the same. It's not, you're not improving. It's the same. And here's another thing. You're not sure if Natchez has the same type of chemistry that Pastrnak and Geekie have.
True. And Natchez has run himself out of 2 places already.
Yeah.
Like, this is the 3rd place he's going to bitch about.
Yeah. So if he's disgruntled in Colorado playing with fucking McCarr and McKinnon, what's he going to be here when he's playing with Matt Poitras and fucking Casey Mr. Minus Middlestad? Like, I mean, what the fuck is he going to be thinking about that?
God.
When Middlestad's out there, back checking like his legs are fucking cement pillars.
Oh my God Almighty! Natchez is gonna hate it here.
He would hate it. He would hate it.
Hate his life.
So let's not do that thing. Let's not do that thing. I like him as a player, and I would take him on my team. I'm just not. It's a sideways move. I don't want to go sideways. I want to be better. And he's probably a better player overall than Morgan Geekie, but by how much? Is it worth the 7th overall pick? No. And is he gonna have the chemistry? Is he gonna like it here? All that shit. So no. We know Geekie likes it here. We know he has chemistry with Pastrnak. So let's look for another guy. And this is the other part I don't understand. Why is everything the trade market? Why can't we just go out and sign a free agent that is productive, that you don't have to give up other assets to get back?
Because no one wants to come here.
It's only money. Yeah. The trade way, it's assets and then money. It's more things that you have to give up. Why are we giving up more shit? Yeah. Stop doing that. Yeah. Just go out and get a player, identify someone, and say, this is a guy we could use. And then pay the fucking man.
Yeah, they paid two last season. They paid 2 guys. Probably the wrong 2 guys and the wrong money.
Yeah,
but they did it last year. Like, why?
So do it again and target someone that actually produced, please.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't sign Lindholm, then you probably are able to sign Marchand, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you're able to just free up Marchand for 3 times 7 at the time.
So,
and
I don't know. Do you go out and look at a guy like Brock Besser, who is going to probably be one of the guys that's moved? Like, because
here's the other thing,
because he can actually score goals. Like, he's a guy who can actually score goals.
He can, but the guys who are going to be traded have some fault or something.
Yeah, they have baggage. All of them, of course,
they have baggage. They all have baggage. Natchez, Besser. They've had teammates that hated him. Like all these guys out here. Rossi has been a complete dank with them. So, now you're getting a guy who has a little bit of stain, a little bit of a dink.
Yeah.
I don't know if Besser comes in and you're already worried about your culture. Then you're gonna bring in a guy who's forced himself out of town somewhere else. Like, that's not comforting either.
No.
So they've backed themselves into such a fucking hole. It's in 2 years. 2 years ago, they were the best team in history.
Yeah.
And now, 2 years later, they are dog shit. Like, that's unbelievable to me.
I mean, it is unbelievable, but he didn't have a plan. And we talked about it a million.
That's why he kept trying to fucking add to that core. He had no plan beyond it. None. Zero.
That's what the fucking problem is, though.
Yeah.
It's like, Bergeron's retiring in the next few years. Krejci's retiring in the next few years. Why do you not bring guys in at the time that could replace those guys?
You had to make some hard hockey trades.
You did,
like the Panthers did,
or attack it in free agency, like whatever. Like, just come up with a solution. Yeah, both of our top 2 centers are going to be gone in the next 2 years. We should probably be looking for that now.
You should probably
when they decide to hang it up, we should be looking now. And they didn't. And
they didn't.
Hit them in the fucking ass.
Mm-hmm. They should have traded, they probably should have traded Krejci like after 19. They should probably, or somebody like that. They probably should have made a hard hockey trade, just getting ahead of it, like the Florida Panthers did. Like, they had Jonathan Huberdeau with 115 points, whatever it is, and they traded him. And everybody at the time was like, wow, Huberdeau and Weegar? Wow. But look at what Tkachuk has done. They're going to win 2 cups. They've been to 3 finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus Christ. But that's what you have to do to stay relevant and to avoid the collapse that they had. But I just can't believe the people who just defend Don Sweeney. Like, dude, he was fine up until 23. But since then, he has not been good. And the stuff he did before 23 that was under the radar that could have helped them now, he didn't do well. So here's where you are. Like, Jesus Christ. I don't get it. Sharp 5, Sabres forward Alex Tuch, BC guy, might be on the block. William Karlsson of Vegas, too. Just another group of, people that are available. Alex Tuch, would have loved him 3 years ago. William Karlsson would have loved him 3 or 4 years ago. Unless you get these guys for nothing, then I would pass on any of this type of stuff.
Yeah, look, I'm all for adding talent. I've said it a million times. They need talent. Those guys are both talented guys. I would take them on the Bruins in a heartbeat. But what are you giving up? What are you giving up? What kind of salary do you have to give them? Like, if it's a salary dump and you're just giving a 4th rounder or a 3rd rounder or a 2nd rounder, if you're giving 51 or 61 for Alex Tuch, sign me the fuck up. Yes, sign me up. Because they can't draft. They certainly couldn't draft an Alex Tuch at 61, the Bruins. So, sign me up. William Karlsson, same fucking thing. If you want to give up one of those 2nd round picks for William Karlsson, sign me up. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I'm not giving up, a bunch of assets and a 1st rounder and guys off my, like Morgan Geekie. I'm not trading Morgan Geekie for either one of those guys. Mm-hmm. same with Mason Marchment or Jason Robertson. Yeah,
Right.
I would like one of those guys. If it's a salary dump.
Sure.
Robertson's a really good player. Like I would give up maybe even a little more than that for Robertson. Might give up 7 for Robertson, but I'm not giving up 7 in Geekie for Robertson.
No.
So, like, Dallas has a high ask with good reason. They should, but I'm not gonna just go out and meet it just because they're asking for it. Like that, you don't have to. Like you don't have to. You know, you can negotiate. So.
Yeah.
And the way things went in the Swayman negotiations, I'm not sure that they're great in that fucking arena. Yeah. So, I'd like to add some talent to the team, but at the right price and, you know, on your terms, not on the other team's terms. Right. Like you don't have to agree with everything they say. Yeah. You want the player and you know, eventually I guess push will come to shove and you'll have to decide, you know, is it worth whatever they're asking? But I'm not going overboard to help another team out that's in a cap crunch. Like you want to dump the guy, dump him. I'll give you a second or a third or a fourth or something and take the player off your hands and you can sign whoever else you want. But I'm not, you know, paying through the nose for a guy you're looking to dump because you need to spend money somewhere else.
No, like, this is the producer Connor method. Like producer Connor has been all about take on a salary for like nothing. Remember when Max Pacioretty went for like nothing? Yeah. They just gave him to him. Future considerations, which never happened. Yeah. You know, they dumped the salary. Like that's what Connor says. Hey, you know, take a guy for a year or two, max, that is a veteran player, that's a decent player. You know, Chris Kreider went for basically nothing, some mid-level prospect.
And a mid, that's something I would have done. The Bruins, I would have done that. Like I would have done that. Yeah. I would have traded Brett Harrison and a fourth for Chris Kreider.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
I would have traded fucking half the Providence Bruins roster.
Yeah, Joey Abate and a fourth.
Fucking Riley Duran and a fourth for Chris Kreider. Yeah,
right.
Producer Connor would like to chime in.
The part about that in being savvy is you take on that contract for a year or two, and then you turn around and you trade that player at one of the next 2 deadlines as that contract is expiring for the real assets that player is worth. Because you can likely, in the last year of a deal, you can retain 50% of that deal and move that player just like you did Marchand.
Right.
And get a king's ransom. And get paid to take the player in the first place.
Right. So if you give up Harrison and a fourth, say, you could get the fourth back 2 years from now.
Probably better than fourth.
You're getting a second back.
Yeah.
Chris Kreider, and have to retain. And so you can do that, play that game.
Get a better pick out of it.
Right. So you end up with a second for your fourth.
So here's the difference, though. Producer Connor is creative, at least when it comes to hockey and general managing and the salary cap. I don't know about in his personal life. I don't know how creative he is.
Oh, he's got a
he likes the weed though, so maybe that marks his.
He's got that synthetic shit or something. He's got some mushrooms and butterflies. Yeah.
Bran flakes, I think, are part of one of the strains.
Smoking bran flakes.
Smoking bran flakes, yeah. Raisin bran.
Sweet.
But the Bruins are not creative as far as that goes. Like as far as they don't want to be one of the teams in a 3-team trade that takes retention and gets a pick. Like they never do shit like that because they're just straightforward assholes.
They are.
And other teams are creative, like Connor, like Carolina, like there's other teams around the league that will do those type of moves and increase assets and get better assets back in return and get a few productive years out of a player. The Bruins just don't do that. They just don't do it. And I don't know why. They should be doing it. Other teams do it. And they should be trying to improve. And that's a way to do it. That's a little bit, out of the ordinary, maybe. Yeah. And Don Sweeney seems like a very by the book kind of guy. Sure. So maybe that's where they run into trouble with that shit. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they could be doing some things to improve the roster, and they just, for whatever reason, they decide not to do those things.
They just go get Mika Zibanejad for a couple of years and flip him 2 years from now for something else.
Flip him at the deadline to a team that can use them or whatever, and you can get something in return. Connor wants to chime back in.
Another thing I really want to see the Bruins lean into is you're starting to see some of these deferred money contracts in sports, especially the NHL now. I'm really going to be interested to see if Boston will use something like that if they were to go after a star player.
Yeah, kick the money down the can like, was it Kovalchuk that is getting paid to like 2060 or something? Like those deals are just like forever.
I feel like the Jacobs family is going to squash that shit.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't want to be paying things.
Have that on the books if they ever want to sell. I mean, there's different things.
Yeah. I feel like that's, I don't
they
think
like to pay for guys that aren't employed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not even like an usher that they fired. Right. They don't even want to pay unemployment. Like they're not going to pay, Mika Zibanejad in 2045.
They were one of the teams during the COVID thing that like wouldn't pay their like arena people and
they
stuff
didn't pay them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
my father was one of them.
Yeah. So like they're not going to want to pay, a guy who's not on the team anymore to be sitting around playing golf or drinking margaritas by the pool. So I can't see the Jacobs being behind something like that. Hopefully I'm wrong, and they will get into that because sports is going that way. Like, the Dodgers did it with a bunch of guys on their team to build kind of a super team there, and there's a bunch of other organizations that are getting behind that. And unless you start, diving into some of that stuff, you're going to be left behind because everyone else is doing it. So if you don't start, doing it too, other teams are going to get the best of you.
The Ducks and the Maple Leafs have already done it in the NHL.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, Trip 6. At least we have Chris Kelly and Jay Leach back. As part of the gig, letting the Bruins protect these guys. What kind of pictures do these guys have?
Yeah.
I'll say this. I looked back. The Bruins have had 17 head coaches since Jerry Cheevers in 1985. So in 40 years, they've had 17 coaches. Okay. Only in Don Sweeney's tenure have assistants been retained with the next coach. Other times, there was only one guy. I think it might have been Tommy McVie, who was a long time, like everybody loved him.
Yeah.
But other than that, everybody who came in, new assistants. So it's a Don Sweeney thing. Like we're just keeping these guys, but he insulated because look at what's the biggest sign of insecurity when you insulate yourself with people who believe your bullshit. You know what I mean? So that's part of it. If you're a manager of anything, you're going to hire employees who believe, okay, Don, okay, yeah, you know everything. Yeah, okay, yeah. You're not going to bring in guys who could question you. So there's some severe insecurity there.
Severe insecurity. There is. I feel like, look, I've harped on this before. Like Chris Kelly in charge of the power play is ridiculous to me.
Oh, it's insane.
And I guess they're looking for the new assistant. We are looking for is supposed to be. They want him to have some power play experience. Great. So what's Chris Kelly on the staff for then? Like, what's his value to the staff? What's Jay Leach's value to the staff? Jay Leach was brought in as a defensive coach. The defense has gotten worse since he's been here. And the Bruins like shed thousands and thousands of tears when he left to go to Seattle.
They did. It was right.
He was like heartbroken that the guy left and went to another organization. Yeah. So they had to try with all their might to bring him back and have him come here and suck as a coach. And we're going to keep him because of why?
Why?
Because you had one of the worst defenses in the history of the motherfucking team. And we're going to retain that guy for what reason? Because you missed him? Because he's a swell guy around the rink? Like, go fuck yourself, Donald.
I'll tell you.
Jesus Christ. Why are we keeping assistant coaches that are bad at their jobs?
how about this? Could it be that guys just don't? It would be hard to fill those assistant coaching positions.
Maybe that's it.
Could that be?
Could that
be?
But Marco, there's nobody out there that likes Marco Sturm. Marco Sturm's assistants with the Ontario Reign wouldn't want to coach in the NHL. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I think you would. He had two assistants there.
Probably would. I think they probably would. I think the Ontario Reign assistant coaches would want to coach for the fucking,
historical franchise.
Original six franchise. Yeah,
Karen.
I think they probably would.
Yeah, so, I don't know, Karen.
Settling coaching staffs and let the coaches pick their own goddamn guys.
I tell you, I would never, if I was a coach, this happened to me in coaching at a much lower level, but I would never want to retain a guy from the previous staff. I don't care unless I really had a past excellent relationship and I knew this guy front to back. If not, I would never want to retain that guy because you never know, especially Jay Leach, who wanted the job. And now he's your assistant coach. How is that any good? Like, how does that make any sense at all?
It's not
just asking for problems.
It's not good. It doesn't make any sense. It's an ass backwards way to do things, but you're looking at an ass backwards front office and an ass backwards organization. They prioritize fourth line guys more than first line guys. There's your ass backwardness in a nutshell. There's the Bruins organization in a nutshell. Let's sign Mark Kastelic to a 3-year extension. Happy fucking Thanksgiving, Mark.
I'll tell you what, though, Mark has the remedy.
He does.
He's bringing hard work. He's bringing hard work to impress Marco Sturm.
Well, I mean, if he's one of the guys that's going to compete, there's a step in the right direction. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Anybody out there who has kids or is a younger guy who's looking to go into sports journalism, do not go into sports journalism. Is dying on the vine, just like your willow tree in the backyard. It's dead, gone. Sports journalism as we knew it, bye-bye. Yeah. It's just guys on Twitter or guys like us who just spout off, or it's guys who have to, just ask these stupid cupcake questions because everybody's so tight-lipped about everything. It's just sports journalism. You can't be a hard-hitting sports journalist.
No, it's ass kissing 101 is what it is. It's ass kissing 101. It's ass kissing the team so that you have access. And
what's the access for?
And if you, it's to write a puff piece about how great the team is.
Great, good for you.
And if you can't do that, then you can't have access. And look, we've tried and we're not going to get it because I just told Don Sweeney to go fuck himself 10 seconds ago. So. I mean, clearly, the Bruins have that one fucking tagged, and we'll be playing that on a loop every time we reach for credentials.
Yeah, but they play in the office. Sure.
It's God's honest truth. We've tried and been rebuffed, but look, somebody has to ask tough questions, and right now it's Kevin Ball DuPont. He's a Hockey Hall of Fame, sports writer. Yeah. And he's been doing it for 1,000,000 years. And that's the only reason why he still has access. If it was you or me or some other person, your guy, they would be gone. They would be off the beat. The paper would have taken them off the beat already for asking the questions. And you just can't do it anymore. You just can't. So, it's up to dupes and it's up to guys like us to keep calling them out on their bullshit. You won't be able to get close to ask them the tough questions. They'll just have to listen to them from afar and know that we're fucking asking it to all the fans out there.
But I'll tell you what, though, I am more than willing to be fair, and we've been fair on this. We've given credit where it's due.
We have.
Go back and watch the fucking episodes.
Yeah, sure.
We don't just fucking complain to complain. We want the team to do well.
We want the team to do
There's some major fucking problems with the team, so we bring it up and we get passionate about it. If that's a crime, then I'll tell you what, all 19,200 people in your fucking arena, send them home too, because they're just like us.
565.
Yeah, they're just like us.
Yeah,
they're just as pissed as we are.
Yeah, I mean, we get plenty of comments on YouTube for the post games. Plenty of comments, and it's all people pissed off the team because the team is not doing well.
No.
It's about how the team is doing. We want the team to do well. We loved the team when they were successful, but right now they've done some shit that has caused them problems, and we're bringing up the problems.
Yeah.
And we may do it in a more colorful way than other people, but we're still bringing it up. Mm-hmm. And they need to be brought up because it needs to be fixed. We want the team to be good. Mm-hmm. We do. I would much rather be cheering them on right now in game 6 or game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals than talking about how much they suck and what they're going to do with the 7th pick. I'd rather have them pick 32. And then take another John Beecher that I can complain about.
Do you think this Marco Sturm situation, you think this could be like Dave Lewis 2.0, where it's just a complete fail this year, a complete mess, and then Sweeney and Sturm are gone, and we don't even know the contract terms of Sturm. Did he sign a 1-year deal, 2-year deal, 3-year deal? Is he making $1 million? I don't even know what he's making. I don't even know how long it is.
It could be. It could go south in a hurry. Like if they come out of the gate and have like a little bit of a losing streak, and it's like, here we go.
And they're going to be saying fire Sweeney.
Yeah, I mean it has the potential to be a disaster. It does. I hope it doesn't, because I like Marco Sturm as a guy. I liked him as a player. I think he has some cachet maybe with the younger guys. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he has a defensive system that he wants to put in place that hopefully the team will buy into. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because I want them to succeed as much as I am all, negative all the time. I want them to succeed. So I would like to see Marco Sturm succeed. I would like to see the team succeed. I just don't think right now the roster is good enough. And I don't think they're going to be able to entice guys to come here to better the roster. I really don't. So
I don't think so. Not right now.
Maybe they know that. Maybe that's why they're trying to go the trade.
They know that.
Because the free agents won't come. So maybe
they know that. Look, if the coaches don't want to coach here, the players don't want to play here. Like,
no.
The coaches feel that way. God knows what the players feel like.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Connor, you got something?
Yeah, I believe that I read somewhere on the Sturm contract that he got a 3-year deal, and with Sweeney getting the 2-year extension, it tied them both at 3 years. Kind of ties them together.
Oh, okay. So this is the last year of Sweeney's?
Yes, but then he got the 2-year contract extension, so he technically has 3.
Both are tied together. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. So that's sink or swim. The two of them are linking arms.
Yeah.
All right. Trip 7, the power play. Marco Sturm says that they're going to get a power play focused assistant, or Don Sweeney is. Could it be Marc Savard?
Oh, I hope so. I was open to Savvy being the head coach of the team. So, yeah. I bring in Marc Savard. He's had a few more power play points than Chris Kelly. Tell you that.
Yeah.
So I would be okay with him being the power play coach. Yes, sign me up.
And Savard and Sturm were teammates, and some familiarity there. I haven't heard anything about any type of candidate or anything. But we'll see what happens. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know the candidates out there. But we'll see who it is. But Savard would be a choice. He's been talked about before here.
Yeah.
He does, talk about his time with the Bruins and has good things to say. So maybe he would come again, though. I mean, he's going to get paid more than he is. Where is he? Toronto now?
Yeah, probably not.
So, I mean, he's going to get paid more here? Probably not.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know who that person is, but they need someone. For that power play, someone with some offensive mind, just another voice. Like, that's the other thing about Kelly and Leach and Senza. And same voices. Like that never works in hockey.
It
like
does not work in hockey.
It's just hockey. It's like everybody's voices go stale after a while. But you're having guys 11 years, 8 years, like 5 years. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. But it's very insulated. It's very, going to keep it small. Going to keep it in house. And it shows that I wonder the rest. You're starting to understand what the rest of the league thinks about them now, which is kind of a scary thought. Like that they don't respect what they're doing. So that's a problem. Hey, you can bet, maybe can bet when the Bruins will pull the plug on us on DraftKings.
DraftKings Sportsbook is Boston's hometown sportsbook. It's live right here in Massachusetts. Bet local on all your favorite sports from the comfort of your own home with DraftKings. To celebrate, all new customers will receive up to $150 in bonus bets when you sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook using code ITR. You can now bet local on money lines, spreads, props, and more with one of America's top-rated sportsbooks. That's DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up with the code ITR to get up to $150 in bonus bets to use now that mobile sports betting is live in Massachusetts. That's code ITR only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
If your loved one is experiencing problems with gambling, call 800-327-5050 or visit helplinema.org to speak with a trained specialist free and confidentially 24/7. Must be 21 plus, physically present in Mass. Eligibility restrictions apply, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as free bets. Terms at DraftKings.com/MA.
All right, the beauty for this week, and I picked this beauty for a specific reason, and it's Connor McDavid.
Gonna love you, eh? They're gonna be loving you from dawn until death.
Now, the reason why, and tonight the Oilers lost game 5 and are a game away from elimination, but after game 4, right before when they got dusted in game 3, Connor McDavid came out and said, "Our best is yet to come." He made a statement that says, "We haven't played our best at all, but it's coming," in the media. Exactly the thing I thought Austin Matthews should do with Toronto.
Correct.
And McDavid did it with them, and lo and behold, after being down 3-0 in the first, Edmonton has a fantastic second period, wins in overtime, ties the series. And that's the type of star kind of leadership chutzpah that you need if you're Toronto to break this friggin' thing.
I agree with you 100%. I liked that he said it. I think more guys in pro sports should do things like that.
Right.
Like you're competitive, like you're an elite competitor, one of the best players on the planet. In his case, probably the best player on the planet. Like put your nuts on the line.
Yeah.
Have some fucking sack and say, look, we're going to be better than this. This wasn't good enough. Put your nuts on the line.
Yeah.
Mark Messier did it. Guys have done it. Like, put your nuts on the line. Add a little pressure to your team. Like,
Matthew Tkachuk did it with the Bruins when they came back from 3-1 down.
Yeah. Like, I like the fact. I like when guys say things like that. Like, it's on me. It's on us. We need to be better. Whatever the case may be. But I like when star players come out and not necessarily guarantee a victory, but we'll stand up for their team and say we're going to be better than this. And I like that. I think more guys should do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I thought that Matthew should have done it. And I thought it would have helped Toronto if he did it. But.
Okay. Our Bender, and I can't believe we're going to have to go through this again. But here we go. Our Bender is Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, how many times are we going to do the hockey thing in Atlanta?
Yeah.
How many times?
As long as we need to.
How many times are we going to do this?
First of all,
many times.
First of all, I would put it up there as one of the worst major cities in America. I just don't like Atlanta at all. I've been there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
I had fun in Atlanta.
We had fun, but it wasn't. I know it's just there's something about Atlanta I don't love. It doesn't have a ton of character. You know what I mean?
No.
Like Baltimore does, like
Yeah.
Boston does, like
Yes.
New York does. It doesn't have a lot of character.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you about that.
But it certainly doesn't have any hockey fans either.
No. Like Atlanta Flames, Atlanta Thrashers, and now we're gonna have the, I don't know what, Atlanta Flames.
The Atlanta Waffle Houses.
Atlanta Waffle Houses. Atlanta Waffles.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have the Atlanta Waffles, and I can't wait in 4 years when they're the New Orleans Jazz.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be fantastic. In
Quebec.
In 4 years when the Quebec Nordiques come back.
Yeah, right.
Because they don't like pro sports there. They just don't.
They don't.
They didn't like the Braves even when they were winning fucking championships.
Yeah, they weren't selling out playoff games.
10 division titles in a row, and they couldn't sell off playoff games. They don't like pro sports.
They don't follow it. They don't.
Except maybe for the Falcons, which of all the teams, really, the Falcons.
The Falcons, but that's the power of the NFL. And NHL is not that way.
No, they're not. So University of Georgia, sure. If maybe they could trick the people down there and call them the Atlanta Bulldogs, and maybe they'll get behind it and have the colors can be red and whatever, cream and black or whatever the fucking Georgia colors are. I don't know. Maybe they could fake those fans out that the Georgia Bulldogs are playing fucking hockey down there,
maybe,
and they can get behind that thing. But they don't like pro sports. So in 4 years, come see me when they're the New Orleans Pelicans or the fucking Swamp Rabbits or the Jack Hounds or some fucking thing. Like, I don't know. But it's not going to be a team in Atlanta anymore. They're going to be somewhere else. They're going to be in New Mexico or Tempe or fucking Portland, Oregon or Quebec or somewhere else.
This is definitely, and Connor can probably speak to this better, but this is definitely a Turner Broadcasting TNT.
Oh yeah,
something going, the hub of TNT or whatever the hell it is.
Sure,
this is what it is.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, this is what it is. All right, couple of tidbits before we leave. Bruins make a trade.
Yeah.
Defenseman Victor Soderstrom, a former 2019 first-round pick, 11th overall of the Arizona Coyotes, another team that didn't last in a certain area.
No.
They are gone. And so is Victor Soderstrom. He is with the Bruins. He signs a deal today, Saturday, 1 year, two-way, $775,000. He did have about 60 games or so with Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Is a very talented player, playing with Brynäs of the Swedish Hockey League.
Yep.
Has been convinced by Don Sweeney. Don Sweeney actually convinced someone to come play for the Bruins from another country. So he would come over, and he's a right shot D-man, which the Bruins desperately need after the departure of Brandon Carlo. So this is a Ryan Mast goes over in a 7th round pick. So essentially no one who would ever play NHL hockey. So it's a high reward, low risk situation with Soderstrom, and what the hell? I mean, give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to give John Sweeney credit in this one. How about that? Huh?
Yeah, there you go.
I think it's a win-win. Low risk, and the guy had a really good year or two in the Swedish Hockey League. I think he was one of the top scoring
best defenseman. He was the best defenseman.
He won the best defenseman award. Yeah. So show some promise, and the right D is kind of a sneaky need. A lot of your prospects are left shot D men. So you lose Carlo, and Yoki Haru's a unrestricted free agent, so you have some holes on that right side that you need to fill. I would say outside of a scoring, forward winger, your right shot top 4D is probably the next biggest need.
It absolutely is. I mean, you've got Peeke and McAvoy under contract. Like, that's as far as NHL players go. Like, that's what you don't have. You are missing a legitimate right shot D man.
Yeah, you need a guy there who's going to be able to play, 18 to 20 minutes a night.
Sure.
So, I think, he's probably not going to slide into that role right away.
No, but I think he'll be the Parker Wotherspoon of the thing, probably.
I think you're probably right.
Or the Michael Callahan of the thing was a group 6. So.
I think he will be. I think he's going to be, that 7th, 8th D man, and your right side depth, at least for right now. And maybe he plays himself into a bigger role.
Maybe he does.
I mean, he was drafted 11th overall. So there's some talent there. Can they develop it?
Can they develop it? I mean, he looked in some of the video I watched, like similar to Mason Lohrei as far as offensively, like the way he skated and the way he kind of had offensive sense. And look, he was a high draft pick. He's only 24 years old. He's 6 foot, about 200 pounds, decent size. He comes over for a 1-year deal. See what happens. See if he gets minutes and so forth, and if he does, and he plays pretty well, what the next contract will look like, what if he'd stay, all those things. But at least they give it a chance here with Soderstrom. This is the type of thing they have to do. Let's be honest. Like,
sure, yes,
they have to do this because guys they're not going to be able to get a bunch of free agents. They have to kind of be creative. I give them credit for that. It's not sexy, it's not whatever, but they're taking a Ryan Mast, who would never play in the league, who was playing like with the Maine Mariners and sliding down the chart, and a 7th round pick that they'll never hit on. So what the hell? I mean,
it's worth the risk on a 1st round talent. 100% it is. So I will give Don Sweeney credit for this.
And I'm with you 100%. I think this is a really good deal. It's a creative kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we've been telling them about their creativity, and they've shown a little bit of it here. So
this is a good one.
Good on them.
And they Chicago had his rights. They couldn't sign him. They couldn't coerce him to come to the United States again, and the Bruins have been able to do that. So good on them. And hopefully, he at least turns into a guy that they can use as a depth defenseman guy, and he can be like, if he's at least like Wotherspoon, then of course it's a win. I mean, what the hell?
Sure.
I mean, of course it is. And the other thing we want to talk about was a guy we've talked about before, and I wish we have to go back to the old pods or whatever, episodes. But we talked about J.G. Pageau. I know we have.
We 100% have.
This is a guy we liked before. 3 years ago.
That's who I was clamoring for as not necessarily a Bergeron replacement, but the guy who I wanted to be like their 2nd or 3rd line center.
Yes. And it was like you talked about, this is the type of move they could have made 3 years ago.
Yes.
To set themselves up. Yeah.
And he went to the fucking Islanders instead.
He did.
And like, that's a guy, like you were talking about problems with faceoff. This is a guy who wins faceoffs.
Yes.
And he has a little bit of offense. Yeah. Like he's good defensively. Everything the Bruins fucking value or should value or seem to have valued in the past is this player.
Yeah.
And they fucking didn't do it 3 years ago. And now they're going to do it probably when the guy is washed.
Yes. Now they get him at 33 years old or 32, whatever the hell it is. And now they're going to get him just after the fact, like they typically do. Like now he's Lee Stepniak instead of, 28-year-old J.G. Pageau. Like, I just, you know what? I don't know. I
feel like the Bruins are that team that is like, they're always, I don't even know if they're always like right on the cusp of it or right in the conversation of it, but they're always like a step behind.
They are.
I feel like they're always a step behind. Like those Penguins teams that like you've played really well against that won cups and stuff.
Yeah.
But you were always kind of like a step behind them for some reason. Like they get, you think you have a deal with a Ginla, then they get a Ginla. Like you thought you had something going with Mark Recchi or, and then Mark Recchi coaches the Penguins or whatever. Like, it's just like, they're always a step behind. They're always a day late and a dollar short. Like that's the Bruins motto, in my opinion, as far as free agency and that shit goes. Day late, dollar short.
Day late, dollar short.
They won't pay the money and they show up to the party a little too late. Yeah. It's like the Bruins, all like in a nutshell. Like we're not going to express any interest in Mitch Marner right now, and then they probably will, and they'll be late, and then the money won't be good enough.
That's right.
A day late and a dollar short. That is the Bruins in a nutshell throughout my entire life when it comes to getting talent onto the team. Day late, dollar short.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Like back in February 24th of 2020, the Senators sent them to the Islanders for 3 picks, 2 of them conditional. And that's around the time when we said that when Pageau was on the trade block, we mentioned him. And you were really hard on it. Like Pageau's a guy that they should go get. They didn't. And now here we are 5 years later. 5. I thought it was 3 or 4. 5 years later.
Yeah.
Now it's JG Pageau at 33 years old, Lee Stepniak. It's this guy now. So, again, but this is the type of guy you can get right now. It's and if it's a 1-year deal or if it's really short money 2-year deal, then okay. Because again, it's better than what you have. It's a more established NHL player.
It is better than what you have. But here's a question for you as far as this goes, and you've been probably on the other side of this, so I'm interested to see what you say. Do you want a JG Pageau as your third line center, or do you want Fraser Minten to have that job?
I want Fraser Minten to have it. I think this year is a year to see what you have.
That's what I figured you would say.
Because Minten is making short money.
Yeah.
And this is if you can get a guy making short money in a great value instead of paying Pageau $5 million a year or $6 million, what the hell it is. If you can get Minten to be that guy, then it's Minten.
Right.
And then you figure it out later when his contract is up. Like Minten and Poitras and Lysell are the 3 guys that you have to play him every night, every situation, like just play him 18, 19 minutes a night. Like these are the guys you got to figure it out with,
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think they're going to.
Because I think in the short term, which this is the part that scares me, in the short term, Pageau is probably the better bet.
Yes. In the short term, sure.
He's a better player, obviously, with the experience
right now, sure.
Yeah, he's a better player. But do you hurt the development of Fraser Minten if you essentially give his spot to Pageau for a few million more bucks and you're a little bit better right now? Does that get you 6 points and get you into the playoffs? No. So, what are we doing?
So that's what they're going to do. They get a guy like Pageau.
That's what they're going to do. That's my whole problem with the fucking thing. Is they're going to make incremental moves that, okay, we're a little bit better with Pageau than we are with Minten. But what does that do with Minten down the line? Then Minten down the line is like, oh, why didn't he ever reach his potential? Well, you took his fucking lifetime away and gave it to a 33-year-old who you should have picked up 5 fucking years ago.
Yeah, like Tyler Johnson comes in instead of giving guys like Lysell a chance right out of the gate. Like just give him a chance. Like
Oliver Wahlstrom, you took off the scrap heap and played him 43 fucking games.
He couldn't fucking score in a fucking strip club.
He could score when he was 11 though.
Jesus, yeah, he can have fancy goals in Portland, Maine. Yeah, great. Jesus, it's Portland, Maine. I mean, if you can play hockey, then there's like 3 guys who can play hockey in Portland, Maine. Like for fuck's sake. Like Jesus. I mean, this is what's going to happen. This is their MO. We're going to get the veteran proven guy, even though he's not that much better, but he's slightly better. We trust him for whatever reason. Yeah. And this is the guy, even though we're not going to quite make it still, we're going to stunt the growth of our young people. They're going to go another year playing in the AHL for no fucking reason and score 20 goals and, or in Georgi Merkulov's case, 30 goals and never get a reward for it. And we're going to play this old guy, and that's what we're going to do. And because we have to try to make the playoffs or I'm going to get fired. And that's what it comes down to. Yeah.
That's the part of this whole thing that worries me. Are they going to go out and look for marginal upgrades to the roster in order to make the playoffs when they should be focused on the development of your Mittens and Lysells and Poitras and Farinacci's and Lohreis and
because I guarantee you, Don Sweeney, if you asked him and you said, how do you view your team right now? He would still overrate his team right now. He'd say, well, Lindholm's coming back from injury and McAvoy will be healthy. We have our top D pair, Middlestat will have a whole year with us, or we saw great signs with the top line. Swayman will be much better. Yeah. I'm telling you, he projects that thing first, and he's like,
Well,
we're going to be better.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and I'm sure he's selling that shit to Andrew Raycroft, because Andrew Raycroft came out and said the Bruins are going to make the playoffs next year. I think Andrew Raycroft is smoking producer Connor's weed. That's what I think. I think he's high as a motherfucking kite.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the team's going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be competing for the Gavin McKenna fucking lottery. That's what I think.
Who are they better than? I mean, who are they better than? They're not better than.
Yeah, I mean, we
better than?
We get to the same. Even when they were at full strength last year,
they weren't in it.
Was like 6th or 7th best in their own division. Never mind the rest of the goddamn league.
They were on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
They were on the outside looking in.
Unless you get, and this is the thing that Don Sweeney fails to realize, if you have like 40 ifs on your team, not all of those are going to end up being positive.
No.
Not all of them are going to work out in your favor.
No.
So you can't have that many question marks and have them all work out in your favor.
Yeah, it's called the Red Sox pitching staff.
Yeah,
like you
some of them are going the other way, dude.
Yeah,
some of them are going the other way. Not all of it's going to work out. So you can't say, "Oh, Lindholm's back healthy." Yeah, that's great. Oh, McAvoy bounces back. Yeah. Swayman bounces back. Yeah. Elias Lindholm bounces back. Yeah. Fraser Minton becomes our third line center. Great. Casey Middlestad rebounds and produces like he did 5 years ago when he didn't have his head up his ass. Yeah. So you can't have all. It's like the team a few years ago. Everybody had career years, and then he expected that to continue. Right. No, that's not how it works. You don't have every single guy on the team have the best year they've ever had and then top it again the next year. Like, how high are you? What do you expect from this team to have guys that are in their mid 30s or early 30s? Just they're going to continuously get better. All of a sudden, when they're a 45-year-old, they're going to be putting up numbers like Wayne Gretzky. Like, stop with the fucking dope, dude. Get off the meth.
I know.
Okay. Get off the meth and come back down to reality where the rest of us live and put together a roster that can actually compete.
I don't see this ending well, but I see the show ending well tonight as we round it up. Hey, go ahead and head over to the merch shop, get some merchandise for the Boston.
Yeah, buy some shit.
Benders.
Please and thank you.
20% off with code Sorry John, and also ITR Plus is the way to go. Find some extra content with us. Super fun. And we'll be back at it for the draft that's coming up on the 27th, but we'll have another episode in between there somewhere. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, help us out, tell all your friends. And until next time,
thanks a lot. Bye-bye.